All right, thank you guys so much for coming out. We really appreciate you being here for our Signing Day 2020 special. Coach Cooley and his staff have been busy putting together a recruiting class, announcing 12 guys today. That is in addition to a group of 12 that came in the mid-year, so already on campus. The group includes Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, Alabama, South Carolina, Louisiana. The total group includes 11 kids from the state of Mississippi. So you're all here to hear Coach Cooley talk, so I'll get out of the way. And with that, I'll bring up Coach Cooley. He will make an opening statement, take questions from any media present, and then we'll open it up to any questions that you all have.
Thanks, Coach. Hey, thank you, Cody. I appreciate everybody being here, especially in the bad weather. Talk briefly about a couple of things. Going to talk about our class, and then I'll open it up for questions here in a minute. But first off, I want to thank all of our coaches. Appreciate all the hard work they did. Logged in a lot of hours, a lot of film study, a lot of time on the road. I want to thank their wives and their significant others for letting them be gone for a while. I want to thank our administration athletically for giving us the means to try to go out and recruit the right way and being helpful. Thank you, Ms. Kim, for everything that you do on a daily basis. Dana, appreciate you and the work you do with all the scholarship papers with your staff. I also want to thank our Student Success Center, specifically Ms. Tricia Killebrew, for meeting with all of our recruits and their parents when they came in on official visits. And I also want to thank the Delta State Police Department. A lot of times we bring these people in on even possibly on Sundays for official visits. They open doors. They do a lot of things behind the scenes to make sure that our visits go well. Really excited. I want to start kind of with our mid-year transfers because those guys are here right now. Those guys will be going through spring ball. As you see there, our spring dates are listed on this sheet. One big date that I do want to mention is Friday, April the 3rd, which will be our 7th annual DSU Family Golf Scramble and Drawdown. So I'll be putting stuff out about that, obviously, in the coming weeks. Be a good time. But mid-year transfers, Jonathan Boyd at the top, really good football player from Clemson, transferred from Clemson University. Thought we did a really good job. John's fit right in early. We got here a little late this semester, but he's doing a really good job. DeAndre Champagne is a wide receiver that played at Georgia State. Led him in touchdowns in 2018, 6'4" wide receivers, really good football player. We're excited about him. Jerkeithus McCray. You see we had a lot of young men from Southwest Mississippi. But sometimes when you recruit, you kind of recruit in packs, and you get this guy who's buddies with this guy, and they all want to play together. So, I've heard guys in the past say you can't take more than 3 guys from the same junior college. Well, last year we took 8 from the same junior college. I thought we did pretty well, so it doesn't really bother me. Jerkeithus McCray, good player. DeBrian McGee is an inside wide receiver, return guy, pretty electric guy. D. Newsome is a young man that has really stuck out early in workouts. Think he's going to be a really good outside linebacker, nickel-type backer, possibly a high safety. Tamos Stevenson is just a guy that does everything right. I think he led the state of Mississippi in tackles last year. Really good football player. Carson Flum, kicker from Hines, played at Copiah Academy. Really like his competitiveness. He's got a really strong leg. One stat last year that we knew we all had to address was we had 52 kickoffs in Gulf South Conference play with 0 touchbacks. And that's something we've got to address immediately. And we think Carson's got that kind of leg to help us in that regard as well. John Tate, a long snapper that played with Carson at Hines. We're glad he's here as well. Jalen Wilson, another wide receiver from South Mississippi, Bay St. Louis. Savaris Snow is Dayreek Snow's little brother. Dayreek is going to be a senior defensive back for us. Savaris is his little brother. Great personality, really excited about him. Has a lot of energy when he comes in the building. Think he's going to be a really good player. Jake Smithhart was a young man that played at Hines, played 1 year. He was the state champion quarterback on Pearl's championship team a couple years back. And we're excited about letting him compete in for that position this spring as well as we head into the fall. And then Deion Allen is another safety from Southwest. We felt like we needed to shore up our defensive backfield and our receiving core were two things that we needed to help, especially with our back-end safeties and our receivers. So you see a lot of those needs were met at mid-year. And we're going to get to the guys that signed today, these high school kids. I'm really excited about the first guy up top. Henry Ostad is a quarterback that we found out literally about 2 weeks ago. Got an email. Henry's offensive coordinator was a guy who played here at Delta State, who's now his vice principal. We found out about Henry. Him and his dad jumped in a car all the way down from south of Orlando, Florida, and he fell in love with the place. And we're really excited about Henry. Jordan Johnson, offensive lineman from James Clements, who we hope is going to be protecting for Henry in years to come. And then from right up the road at East Webster High School, Parker Burleson, who was probably one of the most sought-after kickers specialists in the state of Mississippi. Parker is an academic young man as well, and we were able to get him here, which was a really good deal for us. Caden Berard, defensive end from Denham Springs, Louisiana. Some people might think he's a little undersized, but he plays really, really hard. We really like him. Great family, really excited about him. Cameron Bates is a young man from South Gwinnett that is a guy that we looked at on both sides of the ball. We're going to start him out as a nose. Really like the way he moves around. And then his teammate, Derek Billings, is 6'3", 230-pound defensive end. Outside linebacker is what he played. We project him as a defensive end. I think by next year he'll be 255, 260 pretty easily. He's a good-looking young man. And then Irvin Mincy, who is, if you notice where he's from Georgia, out-of-stater. If you know anything about Mississippi junior colleges, they get 8 out-of-staters. He's one of the out-of-staters at Holmes. The last out-of-stater that we signed out of Holmes was a guy named Veda King, who was second team or first team All-American this year and is training to go into the NFL draft right now. So we're expecting big things out of Irvin as well. Tremel Withrow is a wide receiver from New Orleans, West Jefferson High School. A lot of speed and just a really classy kid. And I'm really excited about him. Jalen Green is a wide receiver from Norcross, Georgia, Norcross High School, which is where Coach Terry used to coach. And if you know anything about Norcross, they signing 18, 20 guys a year out of there. He's a pretty big-time get for us. We're excited about that. Gabe Schweitzer, offensive lineman from Calera, Alabama. Gabe got injured early in the year this year. And I think that is the main reason that we were able to basically get him. I think that some things happened to him, but I'm excited about his size, his height. We think he's a tackle, and we're excited about that. Daryl McDowell is an athlete from Atlanta, Georgia, Snellville at Shiloh High School. He could play receiver or he could play safety. Plays on special teams, just a really explosive guy. We're excited about him. And then Fernando Diaz from Enterprise High School in Enterprise, Alabama. His offensive line coach is a guy named Jackson Hanson who played for us here. So that was our connection to get on Fernando, and we're excited about him. And what I'm going to say about this class and about these guys real quickly is, yeah, they address needs and all that, but let me tell you what they do. They wanted to be at Delta State, okay? And I'm going to say a couple things that I want to get off my chest today, and then we can all go about our day, and I appreciate you listening to me. But I want guys that want to be at Delta State University, okay? We have a problem right now. I'm excited to get these guys. We had 4 guys in the last week and a half who decommitted from us. I don't even know if that's a real word. Me and Dana George talk about this every day. I don't think it's a real word. They decommitted from us. They were committed, and they decommitted. The reason why I love these guys, yeah, they can play football. Yeah, they got grades. They got all that. They stuck to their commitment. That's our problem nowadays. We have parents allowing kids to decommit. We have coaches allowing kids to decommit. I wasn't raised that way. That's not what we're going to do in this football program. So I want to thank them publicly for decommitting because it was not going to work with us. I can promise you that. We talk about the first thing in our program is we want to be men first. And our definition of being a man in Delta State football is real simple. Do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. So if you commit, commit. That's the problem with what's going on with recruiting, and that's why it's getting hard. That's why these coaches are ready to go home and go to sleep right now because they're tired of getting off this roller coaster with these young men. Social media is taking over. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't care what kind of graphics. I appreciate our people for putting out great-looking graphics and all that. Graphics have never won a football game, and they never will. But I appreciate y'all very, very much because everybody's got to have them nowadays. Next year, I think we'll just put their name right there on a piece of paper, and that's who's coming because it doesn't matter. What's going to matter is what they do when they get here, and these guys have accepted the challenge to become better men and play at Delta State University. That's why I love them, and that's why I love this class. So I feel better. Got off my soapbox. We're not going to change that. We're not going to change that. We're going to be Delta State football, and we're not going to apologize for it. And the young men that came here, that's great. The young men that didn't come here and they play against us, we'll see them soon. Any questions?
Looking at, of course, you address needs really in all three phases: offense, defense, special teams.
Mm-hmm.
First, on offense, with these new players coming in to go with your experienced players, talk about the potential you have in offensively. Just looking at these.
Well, I mean, they all can play. I mean, they're all good football players, okay? And I think at the end of the day, I think our coaching staff did a really good job of identifying good football players that we think can play at Delta State, okay? If you look, I'm going to use something else for a second. If you look at our defensive line position of what's coming back, we got a lot of defensive linemen, okay? But we feel like these defensive linemen can play, so they're going to add competition to our room, so let's get them. So it's at some point it came to, do we go after this guy? No, who's the best player on the board? Who is the best football player that we can still get? And that's how it went. But I'm excited about all these offensive kids. Obviously anybody you're seeing on this column over here that said mid-year transfers, they get to go through spring practice. All right, so they're already going to understand our culture before the fall gets here. They're going to understand what it means and what it means to be a man and how we go about things on a daily basis. These freshmen over here, and even Irvin, who's not a freshman, but he's a transfer, we still know that they can do it because they have the ability to do it as we identified it. And I'm going to tell you something now, recruiting is not a perfect science. It's humans judging humans. But we think we do a darn good job of it. So I'm excited about them, and I think they're going to all compete. They're going to have to compete. Anybody else? That's a great question to start us off. Come on now. We ain't got nowhere else to go. It's raining outside. Ask some questions.
Overall, defensively, you feel some needs defensively, and of course, some guys that can challenge your veterans.
Mm-hmm.
I know you got to wait to see how they do when you get them in, but you also got to be pleased with the potential of the defense going.
No question. I mean, I'm pleased with everybody's potential on this piece of paper, or else they wouldn't be on that piece of paper. You know, we wouldn't have recruited them. We wouldn't have tried to sign them and get them here. But I agree with you. There's a lot of good defensive players. There's a lot of good offense. And you said it best. There's some good specialists on that page as well. You know, when you start looking at it, I mean, Taylor Crabtree, all-conference kicker, is gone. You know, somebody's got to step in, you know, and I think that's going to be you always got to have competition at every spot. You know, it's Breck Ruddock has moved on. He's through playing, you know. So we got to get competition at quarterback. We got it, you know, and the best players are going to play in this program.
But how many quarterbacks will we have now?
Well, we'll have 4 now on our roster, and there's liable to be 5 before we get started. I mean, and that's the thing, everybody in here, this is a great day, and this is awesome. And we're excited, but we're not through recruiting. I mean, we're not through recruiting at all. We'll keep recruiting, and I think everybody at our level of football always does. We think there's 3 cycles of recruiting when you're at Delta State. There's cycle 1, which is the guys you're trying to sign at mid-year. Then there's cycle 2, which is your high school guys that you're trying to sign today. And then it starts cycle 3, which goes all the way up to the first game of the season. So whoever, you know, it's hard. Guys slip through the cracks. It's hard to just have we're still looking. If you're out there listening, we're still looking. But I'm looking for guys that want to be at Delta State. So know that. Anything else?
After watching that national championship game, I think we got to kind of recruit to the defensive backfield. That guy looks like Drew Brees in his prime.
There ain't no doubt about it. There ain't no doubt about it.
He's throwing in windows like that.
No question.
All day long.
No question. I think that's the premium in today's game. I mean, I think you saw it in the Super Bowl too. You know, the San Francisco 49ers did a great job, but that offense for Kansas City was more explosive. And Mahomes, he's kind of like, I told Steven Robinson today, he's kind of like Reggie Miller when he was in his prime shooting a basketball. He'd go cold for 3 quarters. He could still light you up for 20 in the fourth. Mahomes did that in the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just the way it's going. LSU figured that out this year. That's the way our game's going. And you're seeing the college game get into the pro game now. So you got to be able to cover people, and you got to be able to make contested catches. And that's what we're working on.
Through the track for Division I, or this guy from West Florida, did he slip through the cracks or he said he
No, he was at
Miami Hurricanes quarterback for Florida.
Yeah, he was a Division I transfer.
Oh, he was?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I like it. Any other questions?
Todd, when do y'all start spring practice, and when is the annual green and white game?
Yeah, it's first practice is March 17th, and April the 18th is the green and white game. And we hope everybody's here. And we'll be putting, as we get closer to time, we'll put the times out and everything like that. I want you to come watch this team practice and play, and we're excited about it. I mean, it's awesome to me that so many people will come in here on a rainy day just to find out about Delta State football. It means a lot to us. It really does. So, anybody else? Coach Kennison, boss, anything?
How many or do you have, counting these and those that came back, how many do you have for spring practice?
Spring practice, we're sitting at 73 right now going through spring ball. And some of those guys are injured and won't be able to participate. But we've got 73, I think, today as it sits. Yes, sir. Great question. We'll add 12 more, and we'll probably add a few more before now and then. So I appreciate y'all coming out. Go Statesman. Thank you.